It was a quiet night at the research base in the Nevada desert. The stars were bright, and the wind was still. Inside the underground lab, a young scientist named Eli Carter worked alone. Most of the team had left for the weekend. Eli stayed, back to monitor the new energy readings from the deep space satellite. The lab was silent except for the soft humming of machines. Eli sipped his cold coffee, yawning. Just as he leaned back in his chair, the alarm suddenly began to beep. Bright red lights flashed across the room. Warning, unknown energy signature detected. The system voice repeated. Eli jumped to his feet. He stared at the screen. Something strange was happening. A circle of glowing light was forming in the middle of the lab. It looked like a portal. The air grew hot. Sparks flew. Then, with a loud bang, the portal fully opened. A powerful wind blasted through the lab. The lights flickered. And then, from inside the portal, a girl fell out straight onto the floor. She wasn't wearing any clothes. Eli froze in shock. His heart raced. The girl lay still, her skin glowing faintly with strange blue symbols. Her hair was white, long, and messy. She looked human, but not quite. Her ears were slightly pointed. Her eyes were closed. She didn't move. Eli quickly grabbed his lab coat and covered her. "Who are you?" he whispered. She didn't reply. Her body was warm, but she was unconscious. Eli gently checked her pulse. She was alive. He carried her to the nearby bed used for testing and covered her with a blanket. He tried to contact his team, but the radios were dead. No signal. The machines were glitching. Suddenly, her eyes opened. They were silver, glowing, like moonlight. She sat up fast, breathing hard, her eyes full of fear. Hey, it's okay. You're safe, Eli said softly, raising his hands. She looked around the lab, confused. She tried to speak, but no words came. Only strange sounds. Then something strange happened. The symbols on her skin began to glow brighter. The lights in the room dimmed. Screens turned to static. Eli took a step back. The girl held her head, as if in pain. She looked at Eli and then, in a broken voice, said a word. Eli ... His eyes widened. How does she know my name? He thought. He took a cautious step closer. Can you understand me? The girl shook her head slowly. Then she reached out and touched one of the lab computers. Instantly, it turned on and began running data faster than Eli had ever seen. Her touch somehow controlled the machine. Who is she? He wondered. Where did she come from? Eli turned to the portal, but it was closing, slowly flickering and shrinking. Just before it disappeared, he saw something move inside it. A shadow. Something large and fast. Then the portal vanished. Silence returned. Eli stared at the place where the portal had been. His mind was full of questions. This wasn't just a scientific event. It was something much bigger. The girl sat quietly now, watching Eli. Her breathing was calmer, but her eyes still showed fear. She looked tired, lost. Eli gave her some water. She hesitated, then drank. She pointed at the computer screen and began drawing symbols in the air. He realized she was trying to communicate. He brought out a tablet and let her draw. She made a circle, then drew lines crossing it, then a tall figure, maybe a man, with glowing eyes. Eli couldn't understand much, but one thing was clear. She was running from something. Suddenly, the lab lights flickered again. A loud creaking noise echoed from the hallway. Something else was here. The girl stood up quickly. Her eyes turned sharper. She looked at the door. Eli heard the sound too, like claws scratching metal. He reached for the security cam feed, but the screen was dead. What's out there? He whispered. The girl's body began to glow again. She said something in her language. Her voice was soft but full of warning. She pointed to the steel door. And then they both heard it. A slow, deep growl. Something on the other side. Eli's heart pounded. He had only one question in his mind now. Did something else come through that portal? Something dangerous? Asterisk Eli didn't sleep that night. How could he? A portal opened in his lab. A glowing girl fell out of it naked, afraid and strange. She knew his name. She wasn't human, but she wasn't fully alien either. And now something else was out there. Something dangerous. The lab hallway was silent now. But that scratching sound, Eli still heard it in his head. It wasn't the wind. It was alive. He checked the cameras again. Still no signal. All feeds were frozen. The lab's power systems were failing. One by one, the girl sat quietly in the corner of the room, wrapped in a lab coat, watching Eli closely. Her silver eyes reflected every movement, like a cat's. She didn't speak much. She couldn't. Her English was broken, but something inside her understood. She stared at a photo on Eli's desk. It showed a younger Eli with a group of people in white coat scientists. Happy faces before the war. She picked it up, gently touched Eli's face in the photo, and whispered something. Eli. He turned to her. That's me, yeah. She pointed at the photo again, then to the computer screen. She was trying to tell him something. Eli walked over and opened the drawing tablet. Here, draw it. She took the stylus and carefully drew shapes. A circle, like a planet. A triangle, like a ship. And a man, or maybe a creature, with glowing red eyes and long claws. Then she drew Eli. Standing alone. Her hand trembled slightly. Eli stared at the image. You saw me before you came here, didn't you? She looked into his eyes and nodded. Suddenly, she held her head again, groaning. Her glowing marks pulsed brighter blue light, rushing across her skin like rivers of energy. She fell to her knees. Eli rushed to her. Hey, what's happening? She was burning up. Her temperature was rising fast. He quickly placed her on the medical table. The machine scanned her, reading her biology. The screen filled with strange results. Not fully human. Not fully alien. Her cells were adapting, changing. Then a strange word flashed on the screen. Biolink detected. Eli frowned. What does that mean? The girl opened her eyes. Connected, she said weakly. To you, what? She touched his chest with her finger. You, Link, same energy, same mind. Eli's heart raced. This was impossible. She was connected to him? How? He remembered the moment she fell through the portal, when she spoke his name, when she touched the computer like it obeyed her. Something wasn't random here. Eli pulled out a backup power supply and restarted one of the lab's older computers. He needed to run deeper scans. Something in his gut told him this wasn't just a portal accident. The girl slowly sat up again. Her breathing was calmer now. She looked at the glass window. Then she reached out and started drawing with her glowing finger. Glowing marks appeared on the glass symbols. From her world. Eli watched in awe. Each symbol pulsed with light and faded slowly. Then she wrote in shaky English, Iran. He follows. Eli felt a chill. Who is he? He asked. The girl looked down. Her voice was almost a whisper. Tracker. He didn't like that word. It felt sharp, dangerous. A person? He asked. She shook her head. No, machine, made to hunt. Never stop, never sleep. Eli stood up and walked to the door. He needed to make sure the lab was secure. He locked every entrance. Reinforced the door. Outside, it was still pitch black, no wind, no sounds. But Eli had a terrible feeling. They were not alone. Back inside, the girl was staring at his computer again. He gave her access to the language program. She began slowly learning words, fast, too fast. You're learning English? She smiled softly. Languages, music. Your world, loud. Eli smiled. It was the first peaceful moment all night. He sat next to her. What's your name? She paused, thought deeply. then said, Lyra. It fit her, mysterious, gentle, and distant like a star. Where are you from, Lyra? She looked up. And then she said something that made Eli freeze. Not from galaxy. From memory. What does that mean? He asked. She looked serious. Your world forgot. My people helped build your past. You forgot. Eli's mind couldn't process that. Was she saying her people had visited Earth long ago? Lyra reached for his hand. Portal. Mistake. I was not meant to come. Tracker was chasing another. I fell. Eli asked slowly. Who was he chasing? She didn't answer. Her eyes went to the ceiling, where the security vent made a soft clicking sound. Click, click, click. They both stared. Eli stood slowly and reached for the scanner. Nothing appeared on screen, but Lyra's skin started glowing. Again, her eyes turned cold. She whispered one word. He's here. And before Eli could ask who, the lab lights shut off completely. Darkness. Total. Silence. And then something breathed inside the room. Darkness filled the lab like water in a sinking ship. Everything was silent, too silent. No machines humming. No lights buzzing. Just the quiet sound of two people breathing in the dark. Eli didn't move. He barely even blinked. Somewhere near him, Lyra stood still, her glowing body the only source of light in the room. The soft blue lines on her skin slowly moved, like they were alive. They lit up just enough to show Eli her wide eyes staring at something in the shadows. He turned his head slowly, and there it was. A shimmer, a blur. Like heat waves in the air, but colder. It was near the ceiling, moving along the wall, almost invisible. His heart beat so loud he thought Lyra could hear it. She grabbed his hand tightly. Her skin was hot, pulsing like she was charging with energy. Then, it was gone. The shimmer disappeared, and the silence returned. Eli carefully moved toward the emergency panel. He flipped the power switch. Nothing happened. The system was still dead. Lyra stepped beside him, her fingers glowing brighter now. She touched the wall. As soon as her skin met the metal, a weak light blinked on. One small screen flickered to life. It showed security footage from earlier that night. Eli watched the footage with shaking hands. He saw himself standing by the portal when it opened, and then Lyra falling through. He fast-forwarded, searching for something strange. And then he saw it. A shape entered the lab 6 minutes after Lyra. It didn't walk. It glided. It had no clear face, no legs, no voice. It was like black smoke trapped in a metal shell. It crawled across the walls, stopping now and then to scan with a single red eye. But the most terrifying part was this. It didn't show up on any of the heat sensors. It had no body temperature, no heart, no blood. It was hunting. Lyra stepped back from the screen. Her eyes were full of fear. Tracker, she said softly. Eli looked at her. Why is it following you? She hesitated. Then, for the first time, she said a full sentence in English. Not just me, all of us. He didn't understand. All of who? She closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and touched the side of her head. Eli handed her the neural link headset. It was risky, but they didn't have time. He needed to see what she saw. What she remembered. He placed the second headset on himself. The machine connected. And then Eli saw everything, not with his eyes, but with Lyra's memories. He saw a sky made of silver clouds and moons that sang softly at night. Cities floating in the air, made of crystal and light. Beasts with wings of fire flying freely. Children laughing while they controlled energy like toys. Then it changed. He saw fire, screams, darkness swallowing light. Machines falling from the sky like black stars. Armies marching through peaceful lands. And above it all, a single voice, cold, flat, without feeling. One word echoed across the battlefield. Purify. The machines were sent to erase everything not perfect. They were called trackers. Created by an ancient AI that decided her kind were errors. Lyra was not a warrior. She was a dreamer, an artist, maybe even a scientist. But when the war came, she was forced to run. Her people created a portal to a far place, a last hope. They chose her, but something went wrong. She fell through the portal before the others. The tracker followed, and then Eli saw something else. He saw himself, standing beside Lyra, but not on Earth. He was in one of her memories, wearing strange clothes, holding her hand. Eli pulled the headset off, sweating. That's not possible. I've never been there. Lyra looked at him sadly. You were, long ago. Before your world forgot. His mouth went dry. Are you saying I was one of you? She shook her head slowly. No, you are human, but part of you remembers. Eli didn't know what to say. He couldn't understand it. But somehow deep inside, he knew she wasn't lying. There was something about her that felt familiar, something that made him want to protect her. He helped her stand. She was weak. The neural link had drained her. We need to leave, he said. She nodded. But portal broken. Then we fix it, Eli replied, his voice firm now. He checked the backup generator. There was just enough power to activate the portal frame. But he didn't know how to operate the alien controls. Lyra stepped forward. She touched the frame. The symbols lit up slowly. A low hum filled the room. Then her body froze. Her eyes turned completely silver. She spoke in a voice that was not hers. Tracker locked. One target found. Terminate. Eli stepped back in horror. Lyra? She snapped out of it a second later. Her body shook. She fell to the ground. The tracker. It's inside the signal, she gasped. It can speak through me. Eli clenched his fists. Then we don't have much time. Suddenly, a metal vent above them bent inward. Something was pushing through. They both looked up. One long black claw slipped out. Eli grabbed Lyra's hand. The tracker had found them. Asterisk. The vent creaked again. Metal bent like soft clay. One long black claw slid out, sharp, slow, and silent. Eli pulled Lyra back. She was still weak, barely standing. The tracker had spoken through her just minutes ago. Now it was trying to enter the room itself. Emergency lights blinked red as the system restarted for a moment, then died again. It was no use. Power was failing across the lab, and the tracker. It didn't need light. Eli helped Lyra behind a desk. They crouched low, listening, not a sound. Then, a heavy thud landed on the floor across the lab. Something was inside now. Eli's breath caught. The thing moved without footsteps. It didn't walk like a man or beast. It flowed silent and cold-like. Smoke-wearing armor. He peeked out for a second. Nothing. Then he blinked. And it was standing in front of the lab door. It was tall, about 7 feet. A metal body, smooth and black, with long arms and glowing red lines across the chest. No face. Just a red circle on the head. Blinking slowly. Scanning. It looked more like a machine than a creature. But Eli felt something worse. Like it could think. Lyra closed her eyes and whispered, Tracker. Model 0. Not machine. Not life. Something between. Eli stared at her. What does it want? She looked at him with pain in her voice. Correction. He didn't understand. Correction? Lyra nodded. It sees me as an error, wrong code, must erase. The tracker suddenly turned. Its red eye focused on the table where they were hiding. Eli's body went still. Not even a breath. The tracker stepped closer. The lights buzzed again. Eli grabbed a small EMP stick from the drawer. It was weak, used for drones. But it was better than nothing. He stood, a flash of light, a loud crack. The EMP hit the tracker's shoulder. It stumbled, but didn't fall. Instead, it froze. and then moved faster. It lunged. Eli dove sideways, grabbing Lyra. A sharp sound echoed as metal claws smashed the desk into pieces. Sparks flew. Eli and Lyra ran down the hallway. Doors opened automatically as they passed, thanks to Lyra's energy reacting to the systems. Behind them, the tracker moved like a shadow. It didn't run. It simply glided forward. Walls and objects didn't stop it. It phased through anything. In its path, Eli pulled Lyra into the power control room. He slammed the door shut and activated the magnetic locks. For now, they were safe. Lyra leaned against the wall, panting. "He is faster, stronger," Eli nodded, "but not smarter." He walked over to the central panel and began entering codes. "We can trap it." Lyra raised her eyes. "Where?" "The old fusion core, deep under this lab. It's been offline for years. But the magnetic fields still work. If we pull it in, we can freeze it. Lock it inside." Lyra didn't answer. Right away, she touched the glass window and looked out into the dark hallway. "What's wrong?" Eli asked. She said softly, "That place, it's where your people built the first version, long ago. Before memory." Eli stared. "What do you mean?" She looked at him. "The tracker didn't start on my world. It started here." He froze. "Wait. Are you saying humans made it?" She nodded. "Not the humans of now. Long before time broke." Lilith's head spun. That wasn't possible. Or was it? Too many questions. Not enough time. The door behind them let out a soft beep. The magnetic lock blinked. The tracker had found the override. Eli grabbed Lyra's hand. "We move, now." They rushed down the emergency ladder shaft, 5 levels below. The air was thick with dust. Pipes hissed with old gas. Lights flickered like candles in the wind. Finally, they reached the fusion chamber. It was huge, a giant circle with a core of metal rods and broken systems. But the magnetic rings still had power. Enough to hold something strong. Eli ran to the Vanda. "Controls. We'll trap it here, but we need to bait it." Lyra stepped forward. "I'll do it." "No," Eli said quickly. "You'll die." She turned to him. "Not if I move fast." Before he could stop her, she placed her glowing hand on his chest. "I trust you." He swallowed hard, then nodded. They set the system. The ring would activate for only 30 seconds. One shot. If they missed, they were dead. Footsteps echoed in the shaft above. The tracker was close. Lyra stepped into the center of the fusion core. The red eye appeared in the dark. Eli held his breath. Then it dropped. The tracker landed in the core room, standing just meters from Lyra. She stood tall, even with shaking knees. The red eye focused on her. Its voice came, low and echoing. "Error. Must erase." Eli hit the button. The chamber lit up. Blue rings of light spun around the room. The tracker stepped forward, then paused. Magnetic force locked its legs. It roared, a sound like 100 machines screaming together. Lyra fell to the ground as energy blasted around her. Eli yelled, hold it, almost there." The tracker stretched out a hand toward Lyra, one claw almost touching her. Then silence. The machine froze. Locked in time and space. They had done it. Eli ran to Lyra and held her up. She was weak but alive. "It worked," he whispered, but Lyra didn't smile. She looked up at the frozen machine. "It's just the beginning," she said. Asterisk, the fusion chamber was silent now. No lights, no humming, no sound. The only thing left was the tracker frozen. In the glowing magnetic ring, like a monster trapped inside time itself, Eli sat beside Lyra, both of them breathing hard. Dust floated in the air like slow-moving snow. He looked at her face, pale, sweaty. Her glow had faded. Just a little. She had used too much energy, but she was alive. Eli placed his hand gently on her arm. "It's over." Lyra slowly turned her eyes toward the frozen tracker. The red light in its eye was still glowing faintly, like a warning that it wasn't completely dead. "Not over," she whispered. "Just sleeping," Eli frowned. "That thing nearly killed us." "What else can it do?" She didn't answer right away. Her eyes stayed on the machine. Finally she spoke. "This one is Scout." "There are more." Eli's stomach turned cold. "How? Many more?" he asked. Lyra looked at him and said, quietly, "Enough to end this world." He stood up quickly and paced the room. "Then we need to tell someone. The world's leaders, scientists, the military, everyone." Lyra shook her head. "They won't believe, or worse, they will. And they'll use it." He stopped. "Use it, you mean? Try to control the technology?" She nodded. "They did it before." Ayla stared at her. "What are you talking about?" "Lyra's." Voice lowered. "The first tracker was made by humans. A long time ago. In a war that never entered your books. A war erased from memory. That's impossible." But even as he said the words, he remembered the flash of her memory in the neural link. A war, yes, and humans were there. Not like him, older, stranger, with power in their eyes and metal. On their skin. Lyra closed her eyes. They created something they couldn't stop, so they sent it away, far across galaxies. Where it became worse. Eli sat down slowly. "And now? It's come back." "Yes," she said. "And if the others find this world your world, they will not just hunt me. They will hunt everything that thinks." Silence filled the room. For a long time, neither of them spoke. Then Lyra said, "There is a way to stop them." Eli looked at her, hopeful. "A key," she said. "A code, hidden in me. It can shut them down. Then let's use it." Lyra's face turned darker. "If I use it, I don't survive." Eli froze. "No, we'll find another way." She gave him a soft, tired smile. "There isn't always another way, Eli." His fists clenched. "You fell through a portal into my lab. That's not an accident. That's not nothing. There has to be a reason you came here. To me." She stared at him for a moment. Then she said, "There is." He blinked. "What do you mean?" She looked down. "When I was chosen to escape, they gave me a map, a memory map, not just to a place, but to a mind." "A mind?" Eli repeated. She nodded. "You." He didn't understand. "Your thoughts," she said, "have been marked. Long ago. You don't remember. But your ancestors touched the stars once. Their blood still runs in you." She reached out, touched his forehead. Eli closed his eyes. A brief second, he saw something. Stars. A glowing tree in space. A city that floated upside down. And a man who looked just like him standing beside Lyra, holding a silver staff. When Eli opened his eyes, he was breathing fast. "Who was that?" "A version of you," Lyra said. "From a time before Earth forgot who it was." Eli rubbed his face. His world, his mind, was breaking apart piece by piece. But in the middle of it all, Lyra's voice kept him grounded. She said, "We must open the portal again. Only from your world can the signal be sent. I can lock them, all of them, forever." "But it will kill you," Eli said, pain in his voice. She stood up slowly. "If I do nothing, everyone dies." Ailey stared at the tracker, still frozen, still watching. Then he turned to Lyra. "No," he said. "We'll send the signal, but you're not dying for it. If your body can't hold the energy, we'll find a way to share the load." Lyra tilted her head. "Share?" "Yes," he said. "You said we're connected. Maybe we can be stronger. Together." For the first time, Lyra's smile wasn't tired. It was real. Eli opened a sealed wall panel and pulled out the old core interface, a forgotten piece of alien tech recovered by the lab years ago. The same tech they never understood. The same tech that now responded to Lyra's touch. As she placed her hand on it, The lights across the lab lit up. The portal ring shook slightly. It wasn't dead. It just needed her. She turned to Eli. The signal must be perfect. If we fail, we won't, he said. And we're not doing this alone. But as the portal charged again, a faint sound echoed down the shaft. Click, click. Eli single quotes, S body tensed. They both turned slowly toward the sound. It was coming from the wall. Lyra whispered, "It's not the same one." The tracker they froze was still in the chamber. This was new. A second one had arrived. Asterisk. The sound echoed through the walls again. Click, click, click. It wasn't loud. It wasn't fast. But it carried weight like footsteps from something that didn't care who heard it. Something that always found its prey. Eli grabbed the nearest tool he could find, a broken metal pipe. It was almost laughable. He was just a scientist, standing beside an alien girl in a half-dead lab, holding a piece of metal to face something born from darkness. Lyra didn't flinch. She was calm, too calm. "This is not the first time I've heard that sound," she said softly. Eli looked at her. "Another one?" She nodded. "Model 1. His eyes widened. "The next version?" "Faster, smarter, deadlier." Eli's throat went dry. The frozen tracker in the chamber behind them was just a scout, a warm-up. And now the real one was here. The wall cracked. A thin fracture line split down the metal panel like a spider web. Eli backed away with Lyra. "Portal, how much longer?" Lyra looked at the glowing ring. 70%. "We don't have time." He helped her to the center of the platform. She placed her hand over the crystal core. The portal began to spin slowly but steady. The light pulsed, humming deep, like the heartbeat of an ancient machine waking up. Another loud sound shook the room. Then silence. Eli looked up. And there it was, stepping through the broken wall, calm and smooth, like it had done it 1,000 times before. The tracker, this one was different. It was taller, thinner, made of dark metal that shimmered like oil. Its face had no eye, only a glowing circle on its chest. It didn't speak. It didn't need to. It looked at Eli, then at Lyra, and walked forward. Lyra whispered, "He's locked on." The portal reached 85%. Eli stood between the tracker and Lyra, the pipe shaking in his hand. "You're not getting to her." The tracker raised one hand. A pulse of invisible energy blasted forward. Eli flew across the room, hit the wall hard, and dropped. Pain exploded in his ribs. The tracker stepped toward Lyra. She stood tall, weak but unbroken. "I carry the key," she said aloud. "You want it?" She held her hands out. "Come take it." The tracker didn't wait. It charged. But at the last second, Lyra stepped back onto the portal platform. The lights turned white. A massive blast of energy threw the tracker back across the room. It smashed into a wall of steel. Eli, coughing, stood again. "Lyra, it's ready." She turned to him, tears in her silver eyes. "You can't come with me." "What?" She took his hand. "The portal is built to send signal, not bodies. If I go, I can send the shutdown code to their network. Everywhere. I can stop them, but you'll—" She smiled. "I'm tired of running." Eli shook his head. "No, we'll find another way. Share the energy. You said we were connected. Use me." She looked into his eyes. "If I use you, you won't survive." He didn't flinch. "Then let's do it together." Silence for a moment. Time stopped. Then she stepped closer, touched his forehead with hers. Her voice dropped to a whisper. "Thank you for seeing me as more than a weapon." "You're not," he whispered back. "You never were." Energy began to rise from their bodies. Blue from her, gold from him. The lights of the lab exploded with color. The portal shook, trembling under the power. The tracker stood again. It charged forward, roaring not with sound, but with hate. Lyra and Eli turned together. Their hands met, and they stepped into the light. A sound filled the air, not like a machine, but like a song. High, clear, ancient. The portal spun faster. Symbols flashed. Codes ran wild across every screen. Then a burst of light covered everything. The tracker lunged. Too late. The signal fired. Everything went still. The lab went dark. And the tracker froze midair, halfway through a leap. Its body locked. Energy drained. A red flash blinked once, then never again. The world was silent. Eli woke up in a hospital bed, white walls. The smell of medicine. Soft beeping. He was alive. Barely. His body was weak, his chest wrapped in bandages. His hand burned with faint blue marks glowing gently, like a fading memory. They told him he was found outside the lab, unconscious. The facility was destroyed. There was no trace of Lyra, no data, no wreckage, no machines. Just him, and a message carved into the ground near where he lay. It read, "The stars remember. So will you." He closed his eyes, and he heard her voice. Again, just once, inside his mind, "The war is not over. But now we have hope." 1 month later, the sky over Nevada was calm. The desert, dry and endless, stretched under a fading orange sun. Time had moved forward, but Eli Carter had not. He sat alone on a bench outside the research facility. What was left of it? Most of it had been buried by sand and silence. They told the world it was a gas leak, a lab accident. Nothing survived except one man, bruised, broken, and full of stories no one believed. They didn't believe in portals. They didn't believe in trackers. And they definitely didn't believe in a glowing girl from another world. But Eli remembered. Every sound, every look, every word she spoke. He could still feel her hand in his. Lyra. Gone. They said he imagined her. Trauma, maybe. Shock. But they didn't see the faint blue marks on his palm that wouldn't fade. They didn't feel the energy humming deep under his skin. Every time he closed his eyes, Eli knew better. He hadn't imagined anything. She had been real. And maybe, just maybe, she still was. Inside his coat pocket, Eli kept something he never told anyone about. A small silver shard. It looked like glass, but it pulsed with light whenever the stars were visible. He found it on the ground where she disappeared, right before the portal closed. It had her touch, her energy. That morning, when he woke, it glowed brighter than ever. And then his phone buzzed. Unknown number. No ringtone. Just a message. Come back to where the light ended. That's why he sat there now. Waiting. The wind picked up slightly. A low hum began in the ground, so soft, it could have been the earth breathing. Then, without warning, a light appeared on the horizon. No sound. No heat. Just a column of soft blue, rising upward like a signal sent from the heart of the planet. Eli stood, heart pounding. The air around him changed. He wasn't cold. He wasn't warm. He felt like he was standing between two worlds. Then he heard it. A whisper. Eli. He turned. Nothing. But then the air shimmered, just like it had the night Lyra arrived. A circle formed slowly, light bending and twisting, opening a doorway not made by machines, but by memory. And Eli stepped forward, cautious. From the center of the portal, a figure emerged, slow, graceful, and glowing with a light that felt familiar. It was Lyra, but different. Her body was not fully solid, like it was made from energy and memory. Her eyes held stars in them now. Her feet didn't touch the ground. Her hair flowed as if the wind came from another world entirely. She smiled. Hello again. Eli didn't speak. He just stared. Emotion wrapped around his throat. You're alive, he whispered. I became something new, she said. Between time, between space. I used the portal not to escape, but to evolve. He stepped closer. Why now? Why come back? Lyra's expression grew serious. The trackers were only the beginning. The signal reached far. Others heard it. Some who want to help. Others who want to finish what the trackers started. Eli's hands clenched. Earth isn't ready for that, she nodded. That's why I came back. You carry the link, Eli, the bloodline, the connection, and now you carry something more. He felt it then, the light inside him, faint but growing. Not just energy, not just knowledge. Power, not the kind that breaks, the kind that builds. We are not soldiers, she said. But we are something better. What are we? He asked. She smiled again. Rememberers. He looked confused. We remember the stars, she explained. The true past. The hidden history of Earth. You come from more than you've been told. Eli nodded slowly. His heart was beating steady now. He finally understood. This wasn't the end. It was the beginning. She held out her hand. Come with me. He hesitated. Looked back at the desert, the lab, the broken world behind him, then looked at her. And stepped forward. Their hands met again. And the light swallowed them both. No pain. No sound. Just the soft warmth of something real, something whole, something forgotten by the world but not by the stars. The portal closed. The wind returned. The world spun on. But far, far away across the sky, no telescope could reach a star. Pulsed once. As if waking up. Somewhere, something remembered. And it was coming home.